morning. It is, or afternoon. Well, I guess it wouldn't quite be afternoon for those of you on the East Coast, but out here on the West Coast, where it's still a little bit of sleepiness, trying to wake up. So I don't see anybody in the comments yet, but I want to wait till everyone gets here because we all have to take in just AC. Hey, you beat Carrie this morning. That doesn't happen often. Good morning, AC. Thanks for showing up, Lucas, my man. Good to see you. All right, is Carrie not here today? She's usually the first one. What I wanted to start with this morning, and I hope you're ready for it, is what I consider. Oh, visit with family. Okay, so just want to give you just a couple images of true beauty. I would say true beauty. And here is one. If it's come up, my computer's a little slow this morning, but here we go. There you have it. That, my friends, is but I can appreciate art, and these cars are. Yes, I did disappear. I wanted you to. Did my voice still come in? I don't know if it did or not. But anyways, those were the Jaguar XKS SS, the green one. And I'm back now. Was my voice still going, or because I meant to disappear? But I'm not quite sure if my voice comes through. No sound. Okay. So the first one was the Jaguar XK SS. And I will put that up. Well, this one's the Jaguar XKE. Okay. And this one here is the Jaguar XKSS. And this car coming up, if I can get it up there. Come on now. Is it coming? Things are very slow this morning, as usual. But this car, here it is. This car is the Jaguar XKSS. This is one of the most famous cars in the world. It was owned by Steve McQueen, and he used to hot rod it through LA in the 70s. It's a 1956 Jaguar XKSS. It is my favorite car in the entire world. This is at the Peterson Museum in LA, and I have stood next to this car. This car is worth about $35 million, believe it or not. I've stood next to this car. My wife had an old picture of me, but I can't find it. I wish I had it. I'd show you guys me standing next to this car, barely able to stand. It is such a thing of beauty. And so the reason I bring that up is because Jaguar, these are obviously old 50s, 60s models cars, but this is what Jaguar represents. True beauty. And they have built their reputation on that. When you think of a Jaguar, you think of a beautiful car. The XKE, the red one there, no less than Enzo Ferrari, the guy who invented Ferrari, called that the most beautiful car he had ever seen. And he made some pretty beautiful cars. So I've always had just a fascination with old cars, and the way they designed them, the way they looked, especially the race cars on the racetrack, but even, going back all the way to the 30s. If you go to the Peterson Museum, if you ever try and go to the Peterson Automotive Museum, and you'll see you'll see an era when the very beginning of the idea of an automobile as art, as making a statement, was developing. They have old movie star limousines where the door is round, and they have Duesenberg. If you ever Google Duesenberg, they're fabulous old cars. There's a lot of Art Deco influence, and these cars here in Jaguar started in the 50s and the 60s through the 60s, and just the idea of this is not just a car, it's a sculpture, and it represented class, right, and dignity, and that you were buying into the idea that man can create something that's elevating. Okay, so imagine I'm going to try and get this up. Imagine my disappointment, put it that way, as this is the way Jaguar has chosen to go. And I've got to add, did I add it to the stage? I did. So let's take a look. And you all have probably seen this before. To put you through it one more time, it's only 30 seconds. And these are the cars right here. This is the new Jaguar design. This is what they're putting out. If you can still hear me. This is the opposite of elevating beauty. Okay. So, and okay, that's really nothing new. It's the kind of the way our culture's been going, obviously, the way it's been going. But I want to show you the consequence of this. And this is, again, it's probably pretty predictable. You guys could have seen it coming. But Jaguar's sales have bottomed out. Okay, this ad right here. Right here. Okay, sorry, my computer's very slow, but I should have known not to try and do a lot of things today. So go woke, go broke. Jaguar sales have crashed 97.5% since rebrand that stunned fans. Okay, so Jaguar has lost almost all of their sales, 97.5%. That might as well be all of it. Okay. These cars right here, nobody wants these cars. This is not Jaguar. They've left themselves. Okay. And this ad is not just woke. Okay. It's it's something that goes beyond, so far beyond what we would call normal, and it to the point where it's almost anti-human. This denies everything that is human. This denies Genesis 1, where God made man and woman in his image. He said, male and female, God made them. I have it right here. Okay, I'm going to remove this one. And I'm going to add, okay. And again, it's a basic verse. We all know it, but it bears repeating. It's the basis of everything that we believe. Okay. God, whoops, I got spinning color wheel. Okay. Genesis 1:27. So God created mankind in his own image, in the image, whoops, okay. Here it is. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Well, there's nothing that would deny more deny that verse than what we just saw in the Jaguar ad. And Jaguar has paid for it by destroying their company. That legendary car company decided to destroy itself, thinking it was doing good, thinking it was going to increase its sales by targeting that audience, or even putting it out to people like you and me saying, hey, isn't this cool? Jaguar is embracing this total denial of what it means to be human, total denial of what it means to be created in the image of God. Were they looking for the copy of the Tesla truck in that tacky look? Tesla truck, yeah. You know, that makes the Tesla truck look attractive, that Jaguar. But it's also, yes, an Andy Warhol nightmare. That's a good call. I have not been to a Barrett-Jackson AC. Can you imagine if they rolled out these Jaguars at a Barrett-Jackson, or a what's the other one called? There's another car auction company, the same thing. You watch it on that cable channel, and all of these beautiful old works of art come through. You know, these old Mustangs or old Corvettes. You know, I should say that very close to my favorite car, besides Steve McQueen's Jaguar, is a 1968 Corvette Stingray C3 model. It's just I saw it when I was a kid, and it took my breath away. I've been obsessed with it ever since. So, but so it's not just that trends are changing. You know, oh, come on, you know, everything changes, everything advances. Up until the point of, up until recent history, everything has been advancing, but this represents. See, art used to be. Dennis Prager, my favorite talk show host, always says this: art used to be elevating. That was the purpose of art, to be beautiful and to elevate the soul, elevate the mind. But at some point, guys like Andy Warhol or Jackson Pollock or whoever else said, art is not to elevate, art is to confront, or is to break down things. Art has come into the Marxist worldview, and the Marxist worldview says we will break down everything that society, every institution, every idea, every cultural norm that society has, we have to destroy. So then we can remake it in our perfect utopian Marxist communist ideal. Well, before you get to that ideal, before you have to rebuild something, you have to tear it down. And, you know, I say this all the time. In my lifetime, it has been lived at a time when society was being slowly chipped away. The foundations of society were being slowly chipped away by this worldview that says, you know, um, the Western ideas, the Judeo-Christian idea of Western civilization that has given us all this, has to be broken down so a new communist utopia can come forth. And art is one of the ways they did that. Everybody thinks Picasso was a great artist. I don't see, it's interesting. I think Picasso is interesting. I'll even go back to the Impressionists. I mean, it's very interesting stuff, and it does create a mood, but it went away from the excellence. Go to the Louvre Museum in Paris, you'll see the Mona Lisa, and you can actually see it now. When I went 40 something years ago, you couldn't even see it. It was in this giant case, and it was about 25 feet away, and nobody could see it. Now you can walk within 8-10 feet of the Mona Lisa and see it there, and you can see how disciplined Da Vinci was, and how much he honed his craft, and how much thought went into that painting, as far as technique, as far as the emotion he sought to capture, was amazing. And it's funny at the Louvre, if you can look at the Mona Lisa, the most famous, valuable painting in the world, but all you have to do is look on the walls around it, and you'll see masterpieces of every bit as good quality and as inspiring and as jaw-droppingly beautiful. And the way they played with light and all of that stuff. So again, art like this degrades. And that design of that new Jaguar or the Tesla truck it goes beyond brutalism. You know what brutalism is? That's a lot of modern architecture in the 60s and 70s was brutalist. And that's a good word for it, because it's just square and stone and big and imposing, and it doesn't inspire anything. Brutalism intimidates. Okay, Victorian architecture inspired. Okay, Gothic architecture is inspiring. Brutalist is not. Modern architecture doesn't inspire you to anything. It challenges you, I guess, is what they really want to do. They really want to get in your face and say, hey, this assaults your senses. Okay. So I just think Jaguar is a perfect microcosm. Yes, it's lifeless. Thank you. That's a perfect word for it. Good job, Lucas. You're on fire today. Yeah, if you look at an old Victorian, I live in San Diego County. We have the Hotel del Coronado. I don't know how many of you have seen it. This beautiful Victorian hotel across the bay from San Diego. And to me, it's the height of living inspirational architecture. It's just stunning, outside and inside. But then it's interesting. This is the city of Coronado, right across from that, or right behind the Hotel Del. They call it the Hotel Del. Right behind that, you see this massive row of these, 25-story high brutalist apartment buildings that are lined up along the ocean. Probably one of the most beautiful stretches of ocean on the Pacific coast. So next time you're in San Diego, stand in front of the Hotel Del, look at the Hotel Del, and then look at these brutalist apartments. It's a perfect representation of what I'm talking about. So, but this Jaguar this idea, it goes beyond lifeless. It goes beyond intimidating. It flies in the face of really everything that is normal and good. And Jaguar chose to embrace that. just like Bud Light chose to embrace. Oh, what's his name? The guy that did the Bud Light. Yeah, I'm sure you guys will know. And tank their sales. And it's funny how disconnected from reality these people could get to think that this is what beer drinkers or Jaguar customers want. And yet it's been so ingrained, the Marxist worldview, this humanist, what was the French would call it? This comes out of France and Germany, these kind of soulless countries, right, that are trapped in their ennui, their boredom with existence, came up with these destructive worldviews. And this is what actually our laziness as Westerners, as Christians, this is what our complacency has brought us. But the key point is, Jaguar customers saw how bad this was, and they're not buying Jaguars. Bud Light drinkers, Dylan Mulvaney, thank you. Yes, Dylan Mulvaney. Bud Light drinkers saw Dylan Mulvaney. Bud Light thought, hey, this will get more people buying our beer. And they looked at that and said, I'm not going to buy your beer. You had this guy who thinks he's a woman and is even doing a horrific over-the-top stand-up of a woman that should be offensive to all women. I'm not gonna buy your beer. You put this guy as the face of your beer? No, thank you. Just like Jaguar customers, like you put these people. They couldn't have gone any weirder. They couldn't have designed their car any uglier or lifeless. The world is seeing how bad this is. It's on full display now. In the secular world, there is a growing realization that all the slippery slope arguments that the get off my lawn conservatives, Christian people have been saying for the last 70 years, maybe since Elvis, really, have been right. There's even J.D. Vance and this guy, Richard Grinnell, I think it was, who's on Trump's cabinet. He says he's a normal gay guy. And he said, yeah, even normal gays are embarrassed by this kind of thing. And yet, Christians, so many in the churches and so many in the Christian world now are trying to embrace this. They're trying to find a middle ground with this kind of societal dysfunction, this kind of lifeless denial of the Judeo-Christian idea, of Judeo-Christian principles, of biblical principles, of God creating mankind in his image, him creating sexuality as an expression between a man and a woman that he created, so they could take that, what he has created in them, and recreate and populate the earth. That is the idea of male and female as both expressions of God. God said, I will create them in my image, male and female. Okay. The Bible says God created them male and female in his image. So in men, we have the male image of God. In women, we have the female image of God. But Satan and the world will try and corrupt that. And they have, and we've been complacent, and we've let them get to the point where we're the only ones that don't see it. We're the only ones that don't see how destructive this is. We're the only one that won't reject this totally. Okay, these aren't Christian Jaguar people. These are people in Europe. That article, I can bring it up again. I think I lost it. But that article talks about Jaguar sale in Europe, in secular, practically communist Europe. Even they are looking at this and thinking, this is bizarre. And yet, so many churches here in the U.S. and the churches in England and Europe long ago embraced this stuff, and they're long dead. They don't even exist anymore for all practical purposes. And the mainline denominations here in America don't exist for all practical purposes because they embraced this kind of thing. They thought they could somehow find a middle ground between Christianity and this kind of destructive, lifeless, profane denial of the image of God. We're still trying to find a middle ground. Like I told you guys, my old church is still trying to find some kind of middle ground between Christianity and androgyny and LGBTQ plus whatever, which is, I guess, is part of, maybe that's part of the plus. I don't know. So it's really tragic. And it's one of the reasons people, especially men, are turning to conservative people online, like Joe Rogan or all these other guys that are secular guys. They're not Christian. Jordan Peterson is another one. They're seeing these guys, Ben Shapiro, who are not Christians, but they're arguing against this kind of rebellion against God. And they don't hear the evangelical church confronting this and arguing against this and showing it for the ridiculousness that it is. They're looking for somewhere to turn because they can't turn here. There is no place for masculinity in this world represented by these ads, represented by Dylan Mulvaney or Jaguar, whatever those people were. Okay. I don't even know what those people, I don't even know how to classify those people. So for the average guy, there's no place for him in that. So he's looking for another place. And the church, so far, evangelical church, the Catholic Church actually is where they're going. Because in the Catholic Church, at least they see a normal institution, something they can recognize. Hey, that goes back to Western civilization. That goes back to a Judeo-Christian reality that used to be. I'm going back there. Okay. Because, like I said, even I think I was mentioning the guy on Trump's cabinet. He calls himself a normal gay. He goes, I'm the normal gay, guys. This stuff is, way beyond it. We don't like this. Well, he said, everything you guys said was right. We took it way too far. Well, even he's admitting, even a lot of gay people have no place to go because of this, because it's so weird and it's so degrading and it's so debased and it's so lifeless and it's such a rebellion against God. And they can see where it's going. But for some reason, evangelicals and other Christians can't see it. The mainline denominations, they were all in on this, and they're gone. They don't even matter anymore. All that matters now, the only institutions that matter is the evangelical church, which, is trying to find a different lane in the same road to hell, the same road to at least irrelevancy. The Reformed churches, they're kind of, I've seen more Reformed people giving a place to go, giving people a place to go. But it's interesting that, to me, that the secular world can see this. I'm wondering when the church will wake up and see it too, and stop trying to fit the square peg into a round hole and make accommodation for this kind of thing. Sometimes you just have to give people over to their sinful desires. There's some things are irredeemable. So, but anyways, we are out of time. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for putting up with my technical problems and my pictures of my cars. I'm like a little kid showing you my cars. But anyways, I think I'll be back tomorrow substituting for Ben. So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.